Vic 1212. Copy here. Got you loud and clear. Green, on side.
The Performance Motorsports Network presents Burning Rubber Radio.
Burning rubber, baby.
I know what the tradition is. You don't even have to explain it. And here it is. Burning rubber, baby!
Now, from the White Lightning TV studios in Statesville, North Carolina, here is your host, Andy DeLay.
Burning rubber, baby. Kenny Wallace, you say it all there, buddy. You're listening to Burning Rubber Radio, the fastest 60 minutes in motorsports. I am your host, Andy DeLay. Along beside my cast of crazies, Wayne Owens, we got Taylor Burris in with us today and Zachary Mertez. Boys, we had some fun watching the race last weekend at Vegas with the new winner for this season, and got a lot to talk about. And I tell you what, before we get started, the Burning Rubber Radio was brought to you by Monster 3X Concept Lures. And you're thinking, you're a racing show. That's right. Race on down to the tackle shop and get you some Monster 3X Concept Lures if you want to catch some trout, redfish, all that good stuff. And they are endorsed by our very own fishing captain with the show, Captain Jeff Vickers here in Dunedin, Florida. So there you go with that. And then, Wayne, we got us an open wheel guest for the show this week.
Yes, we do. In fact, actually, Taylor was the one to find him for us here. And not only did Taylor find us this awesome guest, but it comes from the USF 2000 ranks, which is just shy of being in the world of IndyCar. So some really good stuff here. Taylor, who'd you get for us?
Well, we got ourselves a very special KFC podium this past weekend over at St. Petersburg. Really? He is also a SCCA national champion as well. It's none other than my good friend, as well as my cameraman for the World of Kart Chaser. It is none other than Simon Sykes.
Simon Sykes. All right, so some good stuff there. And not only do we have Simon Sykes here coming up in just a little while, we're going to have news of the week coming up for you. In fact, we've got an update for you on Chase Elliott's condition from this past weekend's snowboarding accident. Yes, you heard us right, snowboarding accident. So we're going to let you know how long he's expected to be out for, which we've got an update on that. We've got your winner from this past weekend of the Cup Series in Vegas, and can't forget the Truck Series too, Andy, where, well, guess who?
Yeah, Kyle Busch stomped everyone's ass again.
I was going to say, Rowdy does it again, but we'll talk more about it here as we get along in just a little bit. We're going to step aside for our first Ford and Fuel of the show, but when we come back, we're going to have that news of the week.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Want to maximize your driving potential? Drive Refine is the driver optimization program for you. Led by NASCAR winning driver Joey Coulter. No matter if you race locally, nationally, or on a simulator, with a little or a lot of experience, Drive Refine focuses on your tuning scale to optimize communication between the driver and their crew chief. Visit driverefine.com for more information today.
Hey, this is former NASCAR driver Joey Coulter. This isn't your typical driver coaching. This is Drive Refine.
I'm Andy DeLay, and you're listening to Burning Rubber Radio on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Motorsports sales professionals. Performance Motorsports is looking to build a team of experienced media sales professionals to represent our programming to the industry's top companies, magazines, and racing series. If you have motorsports sales or marketing experience, know how to work with agencies, understand social media, and are incredibly creative when it comes to working with clients and promotions, then we want to hear from you. Top performers are richly rewarded. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444, or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com.
Tire Rack was established over 40 years ago with a product line that fulfills the tire, wheel, suspension, and brake needs of enthusiasts and their friends for both the track and the road. As official tire retailer of SCCA and title sponsor of the SCCA National Solo Program, Time Trials National Tour, and Time Trials Nationals, TireRack.com, America's leading high-performance tire and wheel source, is able to showcase a broad range of new products in suspension, brakes, and accessories while supporting the grassroots motorsports enthusiasts.
Burning Rubber Radio is social. Like the show at facebook.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Follow on Twitter at twitter.com/BRR_PMN. And on Instagram at instagram.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Now back to more Burning Rubber.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio on the Performance Motorsports Network, the Dan Talk Radio Network, and Wingding.tv. And Andy, we forgot a sponsor at the start of the show here, brother.
Yeah, we did.
Big Storm Brewery. Can't forget those guys
Big Storm Brewery.
And make sure you guys go get your Bromosas, your Wavemaker Amber Ales, all that good stuff. Tap houses on 49th Street there in Odessa, Ybor City. Can't forget the amazing folks over at Big Storm Brewery. But with that being the case here, folks, we have got to get into some news of the week. And as per usual here, Andy, news of the week kicks off in high style with headlines upon headlines upon headlines, as we got an update this past, actually literally March the 7th, so Tuesday night, we got an update on Chase Elliott. He is expected, due to his injury of, I believe it was a broken leg in a snowboarding accident.
Yep, left tibia.
He's going to be out for 6 weeks.
That's not bad for the type of break he had. He broke that bad boy dead in half.
Yeah.
About the same that Kyle Busch was out when he, had that big accident at Daytona back in 2015. And ultimately, he went on to win the championship that year. And NASCAR is expected to accept Chase Elliott's playoff waiver. And building on that topic, we've got Josh Berry in the car for all the ovals coming up. And then in a couple weeks at COTA, we're going to have IMSA driver for the Corvette team, Jordan Taylor, subbing in. Not to mention, it seems like he was a good choice anyway. He's been the coaching driver for the Garage 56 entry as well.
Well,
yeah, that's right.
And not
he's
only
the stub driver over there too.
Not only that, but he also does some Craftsman Truck Series races from time to time too.
Never done that. No, he's never done a Craftsman Truck. He's done an ARCA race back in
Gone.
Well,
don't mess with my stats when it comes to my good friend Jordan Taylor. Thank you very much.
Really,
hey, on the bright side, it keeps you on your toes, Taylor. But either which way, now some good stuff to see that we've got fill-in drivers for Chase over the next couple of weeks. And Josh Berry didn't do too bad this past weekend at Vegas, all things considered.
What are you talking about? He finished like 2 laps down.
Well, the only thing he was supposed to do there is finish in one piece.
Exactly. So he didn't do half
all
bad.
The sheet metal straight, right?
And but regardless of that fact, here switching over to the Cup Series and speaking more into it here, William Byron gets himself an overtime win, and yet again, Larson is the bridesmaid, but never the bride.
But a Hendrick 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, Hendrick 1, 2, 3. But I'm telling you, Larson had that thing in the bag. I think it was Almirola hit the wall and brought out that late race caution. If that caution didn't come out, if, woulda, coulda, and shoulda, all that stuff, it all doesn't matter except in horseshoes and hand grenades. But still, if that didn't happen, we'd be looking at Kyle Larson, who I can't pick anymore because Zach says I can't, would have won that race.
I mean, you haven't picked Larson yet this season. You definitely could have picked him, but you
only have
your
8
picks.
You can only pick him 8 times this year, though, Andy. That's the thing.
Yeah, okay.
I am actually making an addendum to that. You can pick 8 drivers, but I don't know if I said it already, but things like the Clash and the Duels and the All-Star race don't count. So you can pick whoever the heck you want for the All-Star race, and it's not going to count.
Thanks, Dad.
Okay, well, we'll give you that.
All right.
But on moving over now to the Xfinity Series here, and we're going to jump into that one real quick here. Richard Childress Racing seems to be on a tear this past weekend, Andy, as far as Vegas goes. They took 2 out of 3, with Austin Hill getting the win in the Xfinity Series. And then, of course, as we mentioned in the opening segment of the show here, Kyle Busch in his KBM equipment, being, of course, part of RCR now, getting the win in the Craftsman Truck Series this past weekend.
Yeah, man, he's proven that the only thing that changed over at Kyle Busch Motorsports was the bodies.
Yep.
Of the trucks. He went out there and handily laid the smackdown, started on the pole, and then won the race. So, yeah, man, hats off. Kyle Busch has not missed a step this year, especially in the trucks.
Nope.
I wonder what Mr. Coach Gibbs is thinking right now.
he's probably thinking I should have re-signed this cat. But either which way, I mean, time will tell as to what we see with Coach Gibbs over the rest of the season here. But I guarantee you, Richard's one very happy car owner right now.
Oh man, yeah, they have showed up this year. Basically, Chevy showed up this year. Look, Hendrick Motorsports has come out strong.
Yep.
RCR, who really was a third-tier team here for the last few years, and man, all of a sudden they're strong. You got Trackhouse up top. It's just crazy.
Yeah. Well, and even then, you know, with RCR being a quote-unquote third-tier team, I mean, we saw it last year with Tyler Reddick. You know, he proved that the equipment is there. It just, you need the driver in the car that can do it.
Yeah, and apparently Chevy's got some deep pockets, like I said, they were going to have in the off-season in order to take Kyle Busch, put him in that Chevy, get the R&D where it needed to be, and then cheat up those trucks over at KBM just like Toyota did.
Well, if you want to get in on an interesting stat real quick, this is the first time that Chevy has won the first 3 races of the season since 2000.
Since 2000 and what?
2000, and you have to go smack him because his mic's out again.
Yeah, I was going to say 2000 and something or another, Zach. 1, 2, 3. Is your mic working now? Nope, I smacked him so hard I knocked him out of the studio.
I'm fine. I'm good. Just having a little mic issue, but it was 2010. It was when Jamie McMurray won the Daytona 500 in 2010, and then Jimmy Johnson swept back-to-back races in the next 2 to be able to give Chevy a 1, 2, 3.
That actually is pretty cool. Good stuff all the way around there as far as that's concerned here. But, folks, guess what? It is that time where we step aside and take ourselves another 4 in fuel. But when we come back here, Taylor, who we got, buddy?
We have none other than Simon Sykes coming up next here on the Burning Rubber Radio Show.
Yes, sir.
Burning
With that
rubber,
said,
baby.
Burning rubber, baby. We'll be right back after this 4 in fuel.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Big Storm Brewing Company helps you weather any storm, from their award-winning Bromosa Tangerine IPA to their original Wavemaker Amber Ale. Big Storm has you covered. Give Florida's beer forecast a shot today and find out where you can get your Big Storm at BigStormBrewery.com. Weather the storm in tap rooms located in Clearwater, Orlando, Ybor City, and Odessa.
Hi, this is Larry McReynolds with NASCAR on Fox. You're listening to Burning Rubber Radio on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speeds, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444. We are the Performance Motorsports Network, and incredible sales opportunities exist. If you have a business in the motorsports industry, give our sales department a call, 717-749-0444, or send us an email. We'll have an account representative get in touch with you immediately to show how we can market your business to the motorsports community.
Visit our website at burningrubberradio.com for recipes from the NASCAR chef, John Dix, and more great content. Now back to more Burning Rubber Radio.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio on the Performance Motorsports Network and the Tan Talk Radio Network, wingding.tv, and all of the wonderful affiliate radio stations that we're on here around the world, on the U.S. and Canada, and wherever you may hear us at here, folks. But with that said here, we have got to get ourselves over to our featured guest of the week. And Taylor, you have got us one whale of a guest, my friend. Not only does he work for Kart Chaser, but he also had a podium finish this past weekend in the USF 2000 race at St. Petersburg in the St. Pete GP, and that would be Simon Sykes.
It really is,
Hey,
Simon.
how's it going, guys?
Hey.
Going good, Simon. First and foremost, congratulations on your maiden podium finish this past weekend in St. Petersburg. Walk us through. You started on pole, had the fastest lap, but just couldn't edge out, of course, Nikita Johnson for the win.
Nikita was quick all weekend, but honestly, I consider ourselves pretty lucky to come back and score a podium after how the weekend started with a pretty heavy crash in qualifying. So we were just on the back foot the whole time and managed to come out in a better spot than we deserved.
Well, I mean, walk us through some of the issues that you had to try to overcome during this event.
Yeah, so Pabst Racing, we've showed up and we've had a great car. They've done an excellent job all through the off season, and it had been going really well. We were P1 in spring training, showed up to St. Pete, and we were P1 in the first practice. However, we got to qualifying, and unfortunately, on my first sticker run on the tires, I put it in the wall in turn 3 and had a pretty massive crash, unfortunately, which set us back. Both in the work we had to put in on the car and our starting spot on Saturday. So we're starting deep in the field in 15th place for the first race. We managed to claw our way forward. Pabst had, as always, the fastest car on the track. So I drove it the best I could, got it up to 4th, but at that point the leaders were checked out. So I was able to focus in on my lap time and try and get a good starting spot for race 2, which we did. We put it on pole for race 2. So that was a really nice feeling. And rolling into race 2, we had a decent race. Probably had a shot to win it there, but unfortunately came up just short to Nikita, who was also very quick and drove a really good race.
It really was a great race to watch. I caught some of the highlights of this event, and you really put on a stellar drive to stay within the podium. Now, for maybe some of our viewers and listeners who are first time when it comes to the open wheel category, I mean, people, of course, know IndyCar, as well as maybe for those who are into the open wheel, the Indy Lights. Walk us a little bit through of what the USF Championship Series is, especially with the USF Pro Series.
Yeah, so if you're taking a look at the NASCAR ladder, obviously you've got a little bit more famous series. You've got your Xfinity and your Truck Series and even ARCA below that. Well, IndyCar has the same thing with its feeder series in that what was formerly the Road to Indy, now the USF Pro Championships, has its own ladder consisting of USF 2000, USF Pro 2000, and then Indy Next, all before you get to IndyCar. So it's a very similar system. I like to refer to it is the single, double, and triple A of baseball in the motorsports world.
That's it. That's cool.
It really is. And of course, you have been involved with motor racing for quite some time. You started karting at just about the age of 5, working your way up through the ranks in Florida and well as Rotax. In fact, back in 2008, you were finishing second in your 2008 Rotax Mac Challenge in the Micro Max division, working your way up to Skip Barber. And then, of course, one of the things that we were able to talk a little bit about was competing in the SCCA National Championships for multiple years, podiuming from 2020 all the way to 2022. And I got to say, it was kind of funny. When we first met, we were talking about how I was actually calling that race at VIR in 2022, coming into later this year, us talking about that event.
Yeah, no, it is funny that we were at the same events and now we end up working with each other on the Car Chaser weekends. But it's been a long road. I'm 22 years old now. I started at 5, so I'm on my 17th or 18th year of racing, which has given me a lot of experience, and a lot of that I've been able to take from some of those series coming up through the karting ranks and then moving on to Skip Barber, open wheel F1600 racing with Greg Rice, which is where I made my SCCA runoff starts. And we were actually able to collect a couple of runoffs wins, and throughout the work I put in with Greg in the F1600 FRP series, I was able to pick up a ride in the USF 2000 series in late 2020 to start with the Legacy Autosport team. I'd been running there up until this past year, putting together partial and half seasons due to budget. It's gotten crazy expensive trying to put it all together. But rolling into 2023, I was able to start working with the great group in Pabst Racing, who is a phenomenal group. Augie does a great job, the whole team. It's pretty much the definition of perfection, and if I had to describe it, it's like running an IndyCar team down a few levels.
Now, walk us through. We of course talked about this a little bit ourselves about kids working their way up through the karting ranks, getting into the chance to race in either IndyCar or those who want to try to get into other forms of motorsports. How important is the karting industry for those who want to make that stepping stone to that next level, whether it be going up to like where you went up to the SCCA ranks, then into the USF 2000, working your way up to where you are now?
Personally, I think it's pretty fundamental to start out in karting. It's the grassroots motorsport scene of the world. Everyone that I know, pretty much everyone that I'm racing against currently, we kind of grew up racing each other in karts, went our separate ways to do our entry level car racing, and now we're all back racing each other again in these feeder series towards the top levels of motorsport. But I do think it's very important. You learn a lot of things, especially from a young age, and we're starting to see drivers even in USF like Nikita, who's 14 years old, who come out of karting. And it doesn't take them much. They put some time into a race car, and they're properly quick, and they're right up there with the top guys.
They certainly are. Now, of course, besides racing and being a cameraman for Kart Chaser, you're also in the business of selling custom rib protectors and chest protectors for kart racers. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so back when I was karting, and it's still a situation today that it's, I think karting might even be a little bit more dangerous than the car racing we do now, just because there's such a heavy emphasis on safety. So we wanted to bring a little bit of that into the karting scene, and with the help of Evo Shield, when we first started out, we were able to get some products and run testing to develop a new kind of rib protector that works similar to how you would fit a proper car seat when you go car racing, where you mold it to your body to get that custom fit. And we were able to bring that down to the karting levels, and I'm still working with it, still running it, and trying to promote it however I can. But personally, I think it's a great product. I've had a lot of people run it and really appreciate it. So I just think it's great to be able to bring any new safety addition you can to the sport.
It really is important indeed. Now, to come to a close on this interview, Simon, of course, one of the things on your stats for your racing goals is to win the IndyCar Championship and Indy 500, which is pretty much everyone's goal who wants to work their way up. But where do you see yourself in 3, maybe 5 years' time regarding coming close to those goals?
Well, in 3 to 5 years' time, I mean, those are tall asks, even once you get into IndyCar. I'm an ambitious person, and those are some of my life goals are to win those events, championship and specifically the 500 itself. 3 to 5 years from now, I'd really like to be getting into IndyCar. Obviously, with the progression of the ladder system, that would put me, if I won all the championships, right on the cusp of getting into IndyCar, probably rookie or second season if I were to do everything right. So I'd really be shooting for trying to make some IndyCar starts by that time.
Well, Simon, where can people go to follow your career as well as keep track of what you're up to during the entire championship this season, as well as when you're in the off season?
Yeah, absolutely. I can be found on Instagram at simon.sykes, S-I-K-E-S, as well as Twitter at Simon Sykes, and on Facebook at Simon Sykes Racing. So if you want to follow along, tune in, see how the season goes. We're looking like we're going to try and put a championship run together there. So I'm excited, keeping everyone in the loop on how that's going, giving them the inside scoop.
Well, Simon, first and foremost, thank you for coming on here tonight on the show. And we have a little bit of a tradition here on Burning Rubber Radio. Kenny Wallace started this tradition, and it has guaranteed to bring home winners. Tommy Milner also came on the show. He said this the very next weekend. He won the event. All you have to say is, burning rubber, baby.
Well, I'm still looking for that first win in the series, so absolutely I'll take anything I can get. So just for that, burning rubber, baby.
All right,
rubber, baby.
That is Simon Sykes, driver, of course, for the USF 2000 presented by Cooper Tires. And, of course, we look forward to seeing him competing for the rest of the 2023 campaign. Wayne, we got a lot more still to come later on the show.
Yeah, we do, brother. And with that said here, we're going to step aside. We're going to take our next foreign fuel. But when we come back, we're going to be talking with the NASCAR chef himself, John Dix.
Time to eat,
Andy.
baby.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Want to maximize your driving potential? Drive Refine is the driver optimization program for you. Led by NASCAR winning driver Joey Coulter. No matter if you race locally, nationally, or on a simulator, with a little or a lot of experience, Drive Refine focuses on your tuning scale to optimize communication between the driver and their crew chief. Visit driverefine.com for more information today.
Hey, this is former NASCAR driver Joey Coulter. This isn't your typical driver coaching. This is Drive Refine.
This is race car driver Kenny Wallace, driver of the number 36 Jegs Dirt Modified. And you're burning rubber, baby, on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Do you love the sound of high revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift. and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way. We are the Performance Motorsports Network, and incredible sales opportunities exist. If you have a business in the motorsports industry, give our sales department a call, 717-749-0444, or send us an email. We'll have an account representative get in touch with you immediately to show how we can market your business to the motorsports community.
This is Burning Rubber Radio. Now let's get cooking in the kitchen with the NASCAR chef, John Dix.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio on the Performance Motorsports Network, the Tan Talk Radio Network, and wingding.tv. And Andy, it is... You smell that, brother?
Yeah, man. It must be the NASCAR chef in here, bro.
I think it is. John Dix, are you with us, brother?
Hey, guys. Burning rubber, baby.
Burning rubber,
Burning
baby.
rubber, baby.
All right, so what is good on the grill this week, my friend?
Well, I tell you what, Wayne, we got some good stuff going. You know, normally I do a whole entree, but today I'm just doing a side dish. But before we get started, I want to give a call out to those Chevys this last weekend at Vegas. Them Chevys and those mile and a halves are going to be hard to beat this year, guys.
I think so.
Playing.
I really think so.
All them Hendrick cars ran good. Those Trackhouse cars ran good. I think we had one Ford and one Toyota up in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin. Well, wait a second. Bubba Wallace finished up front too.
Yeah, Bubba Wallace.
He managed to finish fourth, which is, up there too. I'm not going to lie, I was a little shocked to see that.
Yeah, I mean, 2 weeks we're going back to Atlanta, so you know. We'll see what happens up there. I've already got my prediction for Atlanta. But anyways, guys, like you said, Wayne, today we're going to do a jalapeno honey butter corn.
Ooh.
I'm tell you what, guys, you know, a lot of people, they boil corn in a pot. After this recipe and you try this, gang, you are never going to boil corn in a pot, just the corn again. We ready?
I was going to say, before we do that, we might want to prep the toilet for Andy.
Lord, Wayne. Anyways, we're going to start with 6 ears of corn. Now, you can use a little cavettes if you want. All right, 1 stick of butter, 1 cup of milk, 2 jalapenos. Slice them. Now, if you don't want them so hot, take the seeds out. But, you know, I just love the taste of jalapenos.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 tablespoons of honey. Please don't forget the honey. Okay, gang, in a large pot, you want to bring water to a boil. You want to add the butter, the honey, the milk, and the jalapenos. Mix them all good together, and then be careful when you add the corn, because remember, you're adding it to a boiling pot of water.
Mm-hmm.
All right, once you get the corn added, you want to turn the heat down, put the top on it, and let it cook for about 10 to 15 minutes. And I'm going to tell you what, gang, the taste of the butter and the honey and the milk and the jalapenos, you'll never eat corn on the cob again differently.
Man,
this is going to be good.
That really does. That does sound good. I mean, now, granted, obviously, you can change it up from time to time. It doesn't necessarily have to be jalapeno. It could be probably like what, honey mustard or something unique to that, John?
Well, you know, Wayne, you can try anything you want, and if you do, please let us know and send us an email and let us know what you try.
Actually,
and, we'll put it on the show.
Actually, you know what, Andy? I just thought about this. You know, to go with honey jalapeno, could do honey habanero, too.
That would work.
Yep.
Whenever John cooks, I'll eat it. That's all I can.
See, he won't try my cooking. He's afraid it's going to give him too much gas.
Who won't, John or me?
You.
Man, I'll stick with eating my wife's cooking. I don't feel like getting poisoned.
Oh, man. But still, fun times all the way around here. John, folks, if you ever want to reach out to the NASCAR Chef, all you got to do is send him an email at Racing-02-THE-GRILL. That's RACING, the number 2, thegrill@gmail.com. And that, or you can send an email to the general mailbox at mail@brr.show. And we'll get your comments, concerns, send them over to John. And same thing goes if you got any recipe ideas. Email them either to either one of those emails. If it comes to the general mailbox, we'll get it over to John. And who knows, your recipe may just get heard right here on Burning Rubber Radio. And John, who was your pick for Phoenix coming up this weekend?
Well, I'm picking the number 1 car. I think Ross, he runs good there, and Trackhouse is running good this year. But I think Ross Chastain is going to do it this week, gang.
Considering he got the shaft in the playoffs last year, I think Phoenix might be his comeback, even though it's early on in the season. Though, what do you think?
Yeah, well, they're running good. Early or late, I don't,
Yeah.
I'm not looking at that. I'm just looking at they run good at that track, and that's who I'm picking this week. So my boy last week didn't have as good a race. He hit the wall early, but Randy Burnett, a friend of the show, he always does good, and they'll be back.
Well, he might not have done good in the Cup Series, but he sure spanked him in the Truck Series, though.
Yeah, he sure did. Yeah,
he did.
But anyway,
some good stuff all the way around here, though. But with that said, we can't let you leave without those 3 famous words, brother.
Burning rubber, baby.
Burning rubber, baby.
Burning rubber, baby.
All right, and with that said here, folks, we're going to step aside, and we're going to give you the recipe here one more time real quick, just so you can get a screenshot of it.
Yeah, they have to go to YouTube to check it out, though, folks, at youtube.com/Burning Rubber Radio, or check us out on wingding.tv, and you can see John's recipe. It's right there for you.
Yep. You can get a picture of it with your smartphone, get a picture of it however you need to do it. And we're still working on that cookbook too, guys. So I'm compiling all these recipes. We're gonna try and get 2 seasons worth before we release a full out cookbook. And that way we've got at least 100-page cookbook for folks to go through.
There you go, guys. And don't forget, when you go on the YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
Exactly. And and Andy, that was something else I heard about too a couple weeks ago here. I forget who it was, the guest that we had on. I can't remember who it was, but he also subscribes to our YouTube channel.
Oh, very cool.
And so
subscribe.
Yep. And the closer we get to those numbers, folks, 500 and 1,000, we're gonna have some giveaway stuff. Because actually, the funny thing is, I just cleaned out my shed earlier today and found the Chase Elliott swag we're gonna be giving away too.
You cleaned out what?
Cleaned out my shed.
Oh, it didn't sound like that's what you said.
I am not going to ask what you thought it sounded like because I don't want to know. But with that said here, folks, we are going to step aside, take our next foreign fuel, and when we come back, we're going to jump into the iRacers download with Taylor Burris.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
I'm Captain Jeff Figures from Florida Fishing and Adventures. Do you want to constantly catch more fish, spend less time changing baits? If so, Monster 3X baits, jigs, and scents are the answer. Monster 3X baits are tough, durable, and resistant, which allows you to catch more fish per bait. The combination of the Monster 3X lure with the Procure Baits Super Scent, you will be landing more fish right away. Whether it's the Monster 3X Ultra Soft or the X Swim lures, swim shad, paddle tails, crawfish, or the X Frog. Monster 3X, you'll always find it in my tackle box.
Burning Rubber Radio is social. Like the show at facebook.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Follow on Twitter at twitter.com/BRR_PMN. And on Instagram at instagram.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Now back to more Burning Rubber.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio on the Performance Motorsports Network, the Tan Talk Radio Network, wingding.tv. Producer Wayne, Andy DeLay, Taylor Burris, Zachary Murtis along with you guys tonight. And it is that time. For the second week in a row, we have them back again. It's Taylor Burris and the iRacers Download T. What do you got for us this week here, buddy?
Well, it's about time. We were wondering when you were going to turn it over because we couldn't hear you for like a good 2 minutes.
Everyone watching.
We were like watching, like, hey,
we're
can't
putting
hear
to
you.
our ears and flipping you off on the screen, man.
Yeah, that's no surprise there.
Oh, goodness. Well, it's the infamous Week 13 or famous Week 13 in the world of iRacing, whichever way you would like to use it. And, of course, 3 brand new cars, 1 brand new track, some new damage models, some new content for the AI racing, some new parameters have been updated, and a brand new visual refresh to the iRacing UI, as well as also a new feature for fueling your race car. Those are some of the topics that are going to be covered here for this moment on the iRacers Download. And it starts off with the 3 brand new cars, and for those of you who like getting things for free, well, you can at least possibly get 2 out of the 3 for free. So, starting off for the first free car that's automatically free to everyone to enjoy, it is the Ray Formula Ford 1600. Now, people are probably wondering, don't we have something similar to this, the Formula V car? Yes, we do. But this is the major European stepping stone to racing. You had drivers all across Europe racing in Formula Ford, such as, of course, Ayrton Senna. You had Michael Schumacher, all of them working their way up through the ranks to have a shot of racing in Formula One, utilizing Formula Ford cars. And it's really a fun little car to drive. I know I'm going to turn over to Zach briefly on this, if you can hear me, Zach. What was it like driving these cars?
Huh?
Do you hear me now?
My guy, I have only driven the late model stock car so far. I have not touched anything else other than the late model stock car because that's the only thing that I wanted to drive.
Well, what kind of friend are you when it comes to helping out with me on this stuff? So anywho, we'll get to the late model stocks then. So let's go to the late model stock cars then, and I don't know why we have this banner right here next to me on screen, but oh well, we'll move on. The late model stock car is a brand new addition, as in partnership with, of course, the Cars Late Model Stocks Tour, I should say.
Core is something else. You should know that.
I need to work on my core here in a little bit, but we'll talk. That's a different story.
Oh, boy.
But anywho, working in partnership with the Cars Late Model Stock Tour, and of course with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and many more, this brings a brand new update replacing the Chevy Monte Carlo SS, which has been on the service for 14, 15 years now and has been replaced. So if you have that car, you just basically got a brand new upgrade and got it for free, which is really nice. And now, Zach, we'll talk about how the changes are to this brand new car.
Well, it feels a little heavier. A lot of people are actually also complaining about the horsepower, which is that they think it's too slow. But I mean, it's late model stock car. What do you expect? It runs pretty much how a normal late model stock car would. It has a few differences between that and the previous Chevy Monte Carlo SS, but overall it's a lot better, and it sounds like heaven. It sounds like heaven. I never want to stop running this car. I just need a paint scheme for it.
Well, I mean, you have a lot of different options with that here on Trading Paints. Go have a look through there. But other amazing new cars that were added on. A new front-wheel drive car has been added on. The Renault Clio RSV which is another single-make series in Europe, but still a stepping stone for those who want to get into the touring car or sports car ranks. This is pretty much the season of stepping stones for drivers, and it's a really fun little car. I'm pretty much going to be excited to see how this car will race on the service here on the iRacing platform. A brand new circuit was added also, the former home to both the Spanish and the European Grand Prix. The Circuito de Jerez Angelinito as have on board a brand new configuration with 2 circuit configurations added on with both the Grand Prix and the Moto circuit. It's a fun little circuit. Can't wait to try it out. Already saw some video footage of it. And it's going to be a handful for some of these smaller Formula cars as well as smaller touring cars, and even, of course, the brand new W13 Mercedes AMG Formula One car.
Wow, man. I'm looking forward to this. I need to go update my iRacing, I guess.
I just did earlier. I would do it tonight, but I got things to do. Adulting stuff, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta go update your core here in a little bit. So
I do have to update my core a little bit. John's trying to give me all these recipes, but it's like, that's not going to help my core. I have to do something else.
Yeah, you got to work on that core a little bit. Actually, you know what's funny is I was up at speaking of recipes, though, I was up at Publix last night. I actually found a no. They had a baked chicken that actually was the closest thing to grilled chicken I've tasted in a long time.
I'm excited about going back to Florida because I can actually go to Publix because we don't have a Publix here in Texas. So.
Yeah, that's it. But did you notice he said a chicken? He ate the whole stinking chicken.
I know. I did not. I only had three strips. Thank you.
Well, in other news with iRacing, of course, there has been some other exciting things happening. Of course, sticking to the world of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, they headed off to the Milwaukee Mile this past week, and it was Michael Conti who took home his first win of the season as he makes his way through his retirement tour in 2023. As well as also in the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup, it was Sebastian Job who took home the win over at Long Beach this past weekend. More exciting news, as well as a little bit more in-depth on Week 13, as well as several special guests joining us on the iRacers download later in the week. You can catch myself and Justin Prince talking about the builds and updates, as well as also sitting down with some champions across the platform in iRacing.
Always a good time.
Man. I hear that Ray Alfala is having to run the Road to Pro again to stay up top, and he ran really well in the trucks.
Yeah, he had a good top 5 run and top split in Road to Pro, so we'll see how he's able to work his way through. It's going to be a hard fight for him, but I'm pretty sure he can make his way through.
Well, it's some good stuff. Hopefully everything goes well for Ray. I mean, I know it's been kind of an off couple of seasons for him, so we'll hope that he can turn things around.
The 10-7 car did him no favors.
Yeah. We'll just have to wait and see what happens with him later on in the season. But with that said, here, folks, we've got to step aside, take one final foreign fuel, and when we come back, we're going to be getting into some final news of the week, including.
Want to maximize your driving potential? Drive Refine is the driver optimization program for you. Led by NASCAR winning driver Joey Coulter. No matter if you race locally, nationally, or on a simulator, with a little or a lot of experience, Drive Refine focuses on your tuning scale to optimize communication between the driver and their crew chief. Visit driverefine.com for more information today.
Hey, this is former NASCAR driver Joey Coulter. This isn't your typical driver coaching. This is Drive Refine.
Big Storm Brewing Company helps you weather any storm, from their award-winning Bromosa Tangerine IPA to their original Wavemaker Amber Ale. Big Storm has you covered. Give Florida's beer forecast a shot today and find out where you can get your Big Storm at BigStormBrewery.com. Weather the storm in tap rooms located in Clearwater, Orlando, Ybor City, and Odessa. I'm Andy DeLay, and you're listening to Burning Rubber Radio on the Performance Motorsports Network.
We are the Performance Motorsports Network, and incredible sales opportunities exist. If you have a business in the motorsports industry, give our sales department a call, 717-749-0444, or send us an email. We'll have an account representative get in touch with you immediately to show how we can market your business to the motorsports community. You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the Track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Visit our website at burningrubberradio.com for recipes from the NASCAR chef, John Dix, and more great content. Now back to more Burning Rubber Radio.
And we are back on Burning Rubber Radio on the Performance Motorsports Network, the Tan Talk Radio Network, and wingding.tv. And Andy, it is that time here once again, brother, where we get into some final news of the week before we get ready to head on out here and do picks and all that other fun stuff. And Phoenix coming up this weekend too, so we've got a little bit more to be excited about here. Some racing in the desert this weekend.
The end of the West Coast swing.
Yep, the end of the West Coast swing. And that's not the only thing that's coming to an end here as far as things happen here. The American Flat Track Series, they are just about ready to head out to Daytona Bike Week for their doubleheader. And as of Tuesday night, the world's greatest motorcycle dirt trackers are now just days away from kicking their progressive American Flat Track campaign off in supreme style, as the series revives a hallowed Daytona Bike Week tradition, and the chase for the championship is set to begin its electric, what they call electric fashion. I would think otherwise. It's pretty high profile, as the sport takes center stage under the lights of the flat track at Daytona International Speedway, and not once, but twice with the Daytona Short Track 1 and 2 presented by Daytona Dodge on March 9th and 10th. So folks listening to this on the Tan Talk Radio Network, the races will already have happened by the time you hear the show, but for all of our other wonderful affiliates, the races are getting ready to happen this weekend.
Yeah, that's cool. Flat track stuff, man. I used to follow that big time growing up. Old Jay Springsteen. I remember him, big flat tracker. Running those Honda Ascots, man, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, American Flat Track is some pretty cool stuff with the dirt bikes. I watch it every so often, but I don't get as involved in it as I do like open wheel dirt cars or anything like that when it comes to dirt racing. So, yeah, I mean it's still fun to watch though. And moving forward over here back to the Cup Series here, Andy, the Chicago Street Race has revealed its event names for the Cup and the Xfinity Series events here, and the official race names and links for the 12-turn, 2.2-mile street course. We'll take the NASCAR Cup Series and Xfinity Series past and throughout many of Chicago's most renowned downtown landmarks over 4th of July weekend. And with that being the case here, the Cup Series race will be named the Grant Park 220, and the Xfinity Series race will be the Loop 121.
Was going to be sponsored by Safe Light Body Armor. You know, you're going to give the drivers each a set of body armor so they can go out there and run the race. I mean, good Lord. Good luck, I guess.
No, Safe Light is the auto glass, Andy, so I mean...
Yeah, something like that. I'm a cop, and I can't even think of the name of the brand that I wear every day.
Oh man, we have fun with all this stuff with Chicago. I mean, granted, it is not the place to necessarily be racing in the streets of with all the gang activity and everything like that. We talk about this on a regular basis, and we don't say this just to say it. We say it because we have family that have been in law enforcement. We have friends that have been in law enforcement. People that live in Chicago that see this all the time. And so it's one of those things that if we didn't have any forehanded knowledge of this happening, we wouldn't be so critical of the idea of a street race in Chicago.
No, I just think it's stupid. I'd rather see him racing 90 miles up the road at Road America, to be honest with you.
That or just go ahead and reopen up Chicagoland Speedway in Joliet, you know?
Yeah. Oh, they're working on it. They're definitely working on it.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Yeah, so that'll be good to see if that comes to pass here. Another bit of good news here as we get ready to move on in here. Speaking of Phoenix this weekend coming up here, Lynn St. James, famous open wheel as well as NASCAR driver, has been named the Sebring Grand Marshal and Phoenix Pace Car driver for this weekend here coming up, Andy. So not only is she going to be doing some stuff in Sebring this weekend for the IMSA WeatherTech Championship, she is also going to be out there in Phoenix driving the pace car.
Man, she's going to be getting her air miles going.
Yeah, she is. And some good stuff there for Lynn St. James here. And speaking of USF 2000 here, and actually this one being the USF Pro 2000, Pabst Racing with Force Indy's Miles Rowe once again displays his immense capabilities in the afternoon run on the streets of St. Petersburg by scoring a magnificent victory over Anderson Interior Contracting Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, Andy. Rowe, who started fifth, immediately worked his way up towards the front and never looked back.
Away he went, buddy.
And some good stuff.
How about the exciting IndyCar race that happened at St. Petersburg this past weekend as well? I mean, full of chaos, full of excitement, big time indeed. And then, of course, it was none other than, I believe it was Marcus Ericsson.
Marcus Ericsson brought home the win. He got past, good Lord, Pato O'Ward, who was leading the race. And the only reason he got past Pato O'Ward there at the end is because he had a misfire in his Honda. Of all things, lost a little bit of power just for a few seconds, and boop, goes by Ericsson.
Yeah.
How about the flying cars we had?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, literally.
What was it, like 2 or 3 different incidents where cars were up in the air this past weekend?
We had the lap 1 incident, and then we also had the incident, I forgot what corner it was in, but it went hit on over.
Yeah, not good times at all when it comes to IndyCar, because obviously, I mean, those halos protect drivers ever so much, but you know, when you're going end over end, those halos eventually are going to give out and problems are going to be had.
Certainly is the case. And then, of course, the Formula One Grand Prix at Bahrain, it was a dominant run for the Red Bull.
And Max Verstappen once again gets a victory.
I mean, we
look like Mercedes. Boy, they're off to a bad start.
Yeah,
New Year's same Ferrari.
Yep, and then how about Fernando Alonso getting on the podium?
Right?
That was really?
That was a good one.
I'm happy for Fernando. That's great, and I'm so glad that Aston Martin has finally whipped their whole team into shape, especially if like a good solid 45% of the parts in that car are Mercedes. But you know. Come on, Ferrari. Like, come on, man.
We'll see what happens in about 2 weeks' time when they head to Jeddah for the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix.
Ferrari is great in high-speed corners and whatnot, but not if we don't have a freaking power unit.
The Saudi Arabian Grand Prix should be rather interesting in Jeddah coming up here in a couple of weeks as well. But with that said here, folks, we have got to get ourselves over to picks for the week. And Andy,
chilling.
Well, hey, look at it this way. I try to carry a tune in a bucket. I try at least. Either which way, Andy, you have the first pick as usual, brother.
Yeah, buddy. Rowdy time.
Rowdy Bush. Going to be for Andy DeLay. My pick, let's see, Phoenix. I'm going to go with John on this one. I'm going to say Ross Chastain gets it done this week. Coming up here at Phoenix, and make up for all the stuff that happened in the championship finale last year at Phoenix, where Logano obviously kind of ran off with it at that point. Taylor Burris, you are up next, my friend.
I'm going to go with a driver who came home with a strong finish this past weekend at Vegas. He could have won at Vegas, but unfortunately came out just a position shy. I'm going to go with Kyle Larson.
All right.
Good call.
Zachary Mertis, you are up next, my friend.
I'm taking him for the repeat, kind of like Alex Bowman that I was hoping for last week. But I am going to go with Chase Briscoe.
All right, so risky.
That's really digging down. He hadn't done jack so far.
No, we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. Maybe we'll get lucky. And then, of course, Bobby Dale Earnhardt went with Josh Berry since he'll be piloting the number 9 Chevy Camaro for Chase Elliott this weekend coming up at Phoenix. And then John, of course, shared my sentiment and picks and going with Ross Chastain. But with that said here, folks, it is that time already once again, Andy, where we have got to get out of here for another week of Burning Rubber Radio on the Performance Motorsports Network, the Tan Talk Radio Network, and Wingding.tv. Thanks again to our guest this week, Simon Sykes from the USF 2000 Series, as well as Kart Chaser. And for everybody involved in the show, Andy DeLay, Taylor Burr, Zachary Murtis, Bobby Dale Earnhardt, the NASCAR chef John Dix. I'm producer Wayne. And until next week, guys, we love you. Burning rubber, baby!
Burning!
Burning Rubber Radio is a production of the Performance Motorsports Network in association with the White Lightning TV studios in Statesville, North Carolina. This week's episode was produced by Wayne Owens. Remember to visit burningrubberradio.com for news, recipes, and more great content. Burning Rubber Radio may also be downloaded from our podcast site, pmn2.com, or from Spotify, iTunes, or Google Podcasts. The opinions expressed on this show are those of the hosts and guests and do not reflect those of the Performance Motorsports Network or the Scorpion Radio Group. Any use of the accounts or descriptions contained in this broadcast must be with the express written permission of the Performance Motorsports Network or the Scorpion Radio Group.